Good evening, good afternoon. What time do we say? Is it an afternoon or evening? It always confuses me, Dr. Muyeni. How are you doing today? And thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Great, Busaletso. I'm great, and thank you very much for inviting me to your program. It is such an honor to be on this platform. And greetings to everyone that is watching.
Oh, lovely, lovely. It has been always my desire and my wish to have this conversation with you. I think the day you asked us to look at your profile, I'm like, oh my God, I would like to milk and learn a lot from you, especially after we completed the John Maxwell, the book that we were unpacking. You gave me a taste of what you are capable of. So on that day, please tell our audience who is Dr. Muyeni.
Thank you, Busaletso. Indeed, we've had such wonderful experiences navigating through issues of leadership, development, and sharing experiences. Well, briefly, I am Sibongiseni Mieni, um, known as Seni by those who are close to me.
Oh,
Um, Basically, my background is in leadership, but that was at an advanced stage of my studies. I initially come from a science background, and as
yes.
time went on, I realized that actually, for me to grow as a person, I will need to develop my leadership skills, especially after venturing into entrepreneurship, of which I've been since 2005 on a full-time basis. So, in a nutshell, I'm a leadership specialist. I'm also an occupational hygiene specialist and an entrepreneur. Thank you.
What got you interested so much in this space, especially the space of development and entrepreneurial development? Because it seems like you went deep into it, and I love what I saw when I read your CV. I mean, if I can just highlight some of the things and accolades that you have, it even said you lectured at the postgrad diploma in management course, uh, in the cooperative governance leadership directors and offices of independent institute of education. You conducted training sessions for tourism enterprise for sustainable and resilient enterprises. Yes, see, I think all entrepreneurs must know about you, Dr. Muyeni. There has been a lot of work that you've done. You've even completed your MBA on your occupational health. And the last one, which I think that's where I really am always holding you on, is that what you completed with John Maxwell as a master coach, certified member of John Maxwell team, and independent certified coach, teacher, trainer, speaker. What got you so much interested in the space of entrepreneurship?
Thank you, Pusaletso. I believe that, as John Maxwell always says, everything rises and falls on leadership. So
Mm.
I've always been an entrepreneur right from my young age. Right from my young age, in my early school days, I've always had this thing of becoming an entrepreneur. But I didn't know how. And at a very young age, I started attending entrepreneurship classes. I remember
Mhm.
traveling by train from Umlazi in the township where I hail from, to Durban every evenings on Thursdays,
Mhm.
attending, trying to understand this thing about entrepreneurship. But I must admit, at that stage, I was actually driven more by fear because at that
Oh.
stage, I was told that jobs are not going to be so abundant, they are going to start to diminish. And they were
Uh-huh.
told the most important thing now is to start preparing ourselves as entrepreneurs instead of just completing studies and looking for work. We need to start looking at starting our own businesses. So that got me interested. Then I
Mhm.
continued my studies, focusing on science. But then I didn't know how this science was going to lead me into entrepreneurship. And then
Mhm.
at advanced stages of my profession as an occupational hygienist, then I started saying perhaps I can actually use occupational hygiene as a platform to become an entrepreneur. But then I realized later that for me to actually go far, I have to develop my own leadership skills. That is when I ventured into studies into leadership, understanding leadership, and also being able to acquire skills to manage people and grow my own enterprise rather than just focusing on the technical aspect of the business. So this is how I ended up in this space of entrepreneurship and also in the leadership space.
Wow, that mean, I just want to know now that you've been in this long journey or beautiful journey of impacting other people's lives positively. Do you have your coach yourself?
Well, I do have quite a number of coaches, others in-person coaches, people that I now and again sit down with and share ideas. If I've got some challenges I go to, I actually have more than one coach. I've got more than one coach.
Okay.
So people that when I realize that I've got challenges, I am stuck. People that I go to, and just not with the aim of wanting them to tell me what to do, but sharing with them my challenges and to
Mm,
for me to clarify my thinking and also to think from a different perspective. And also
mm-hmm.
what I like about my coaches that they always ask me difficult, challenging questions. Questions that make me think to say, wow, I've actually not looked at it from that angle. So
That's
yes, I have a number of coaches in person, and also people that I look up to as my
mhm.
coach.
Lovely, lovely, Doctor. Thank you. I know that you play a role a lot in the health and wellness of the employees based on your career and to the work that you do in that space as well. How do you think coaching plays a role, especially in that space of employee well-being?
It's quite interesting actually that most people spend most of their time at a workplace. So we spend
Mm,
most of our times at workplaces. So that is where also there are quite a number of challenges that we deal with. Some of those challenges they can even destroy us because of at times the leaders that we have. So when we have leaders in a workplace, it's important for those leaders to understand the well-being of an employee. As
mm,
the World Health Organization indicates, that when we talk about well-being, we are not just talking about the absence of a disease. We are talking about the state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. So it's not just a mere absence of a disease. Because oftentimes when we say this person looks well, then we think the person is well.
yeah,
So
true.
in a workplace, leaders have got to play the roles of coaches, being able to ask difficult questions on employees, not with the aim of pulling them down, but with the aim of elevating their thinking, making them to think at a particular level, and also look
Mm.
at things in a different perspective to shift their thinking.
Definitely. I like what you're saying when it comes to because what that's what coaching does. It helps us gain a new paradigm. We look at things differently, and it broadens our thinking. So, Dr. Main, I think the other question I really want to ask you is related to your occupational health and well-being again. Given your expertise in the occupational health, how do you see the integration of occupational health programs with coaching initiatives enhancing overall employee well-being? I think that question I have asked it, but this time I just want to know how does that integration do you see it happening and how will it enhance the employee well-being?
So, in any particular workplace, there are quite a number of health hazards that can
Mm,
harm health of a person. Like
okay.
I indicated earlier, when you look at health, it's not just the absence of a disease, but
Mm,
it's a person holistically, the
mm,
mental part of the person, the physical part of the person, the social aspect of the person. So in the workplace, we find all those different types of health hazards or workplace hazards. So
Mm-hmm.
most occupational and safety legislation require that employers must identify those health hazards and put measures in place which will ensure that they do not cause harm to the person either now or in the future. So now the integration between well-being and occupational health in a particular workplace means now those programs, those occupational health and safety programs, they need to take into consideration not just the physical aspects of the workplace that can physically harm the person, chopping the head, cutting the nose, and so on, but they must look at, is this environment not damaging the person? But
Yeah.
also beyond that, we must look at, is this work environment enhancing this person? Is this person growing because of his or her presence in this particular work environment? This is
Yeah.
why some places you find other people, they are not even able to talk, they're not even able to speak because they have been silenced.
Yeah.
And then the majority of people will become quiet. They are not able to voice their opinions. They just accept whatever is happening because
Mm,
now there is no space for them to actually speak and voice their opinions, which is
mm.
part of growth and development.
Oh no. I have seen a lot of that as you're talking about being silenced. About since COVID, I think most people nowadays, whenever they have to bring their grievances forward, they are always told about uh, they might lose their jobs because job is very scarce. So they end up having to do more than what they are supposed to be doing at work just because they are scared of losing their jobs, and which I think it's really not a good culture where you always have to instill fear in people. It's not a great leadership when you have to always use the what's happening and as a token of why people should always be following some of the rules that are not even serving them. Have you noticed that as well?
Yes, certainly. Someone once said to me, in some workplaces, when a person sees his or her manager going
Mm,
into his or her manager's office and then they close the door, that immediately instills fear because what are they talking about here? Maybe they're talking about retrenchments.
oh,
So
shame.
in many organizations, there is that culture, unfortunately, of fear, even
Mm,
fear of expressing a mere opinion. And that
mm,
boils exactly down to the leadership style in that particular work environment, where
mm,
people are suppressed or oppressed their views, they are not able to speak up their minds
yeah.
because they're victimized. Unfortunately, that is the culture that every organization that wants to attract and retain skilled talent, they need to deal with that issue of fear and be able and encourage open communication.
Mm. No, that is something that if a leader can get to that level of confidence. I remember when we were reading one of the chapters in the book of John Maxwell. What was the name of the book? The Leadership Gold.
Leadership goals, lessons that I learned in my life as a leader.
Yeah. And I think he was also, there's a chapter where he was talking more about situational leadership as well. So what you are alluding to, we need to really invest in such kind of material to learn, so that we can become better at leading people at our workplace. Which brings me to what I was doing today. The whole day today, you won't believe. This morning, I was with an organization and I was working, talking about self care and mental health,
Wow.
and we were looking at, wow, how does mental health specifically affect women, and what are the causes that women experience, especially in the male dominating industries. How can they even come up with solutions to some of these issues? And these are the discussion that we were having. And because we were having that, I was just thinking, I think the best question I can also ask you now is, knowing that mental health is a very crucial for every human being or to our well-being, how can coaching strategies be tailored in a way that they are able to address and support the mental health needs of these employees?
Yes, because I actually like the definition of coaching by the
Mm.
International Coaching Federation, which
Oh yeah.
states that coaching is a partnership with clients in a thought-provoking and creative process that
Mm.
inspires them to maximize their personal and professional potential.
Sure.
So now,
Mm.
when it comes to issues of mental health, so we don't
Mm.
need to get to a stage where an employee is now depressed, and then now we try to deal with that remedy. So we need to get to a point in a workplace where we say we can foresee issues that can actually lead to depression. We can
Mm.
foresee issues that can lead to mental health problems. In occupational health, one of the five health hazards is the psychosocial hazards,
Mm-hmm.
where we employees who are being bullied, employees who are being overworked. You find
Mm.
employees taking work home as a habit. I'm not saying employees must not take work at home now,
Yeah.
but if it becomes like a norm, so
Mm.
this employee now does not have a social life. So if
Mm.
employers and managers and leaders, if they are not able to set boundaries and also ask permission. And then if employees feel that they are being bulldozed all the time, if they feel that they do not have say, those are the issues that eventually lead to mental health problems for that particular employee. Especially now if the employee cannot say no. They feel like you said earlier, if I say no, my work is being threatened. I may lose my job. Unfortunately, we see a lot of that, even in big organizations,
Oh
but
yes.
also amongst contract workers who accept anything to the detriment of their health and also to detriment their psychosocial aspects of life. So when
Mm.
it comes out to issues of mental health, it's important that managers understand the issues of mental health and also understand the causes so that they can be able to use coaching to actually foresee that there might be a challenge here. How can I actually assist this employee before actually getting to a stage of depression where it might also be a bit too late? So again, it goes back to encouraging open communication where
Mm.
if they feel that they are not comfortable about certain issues, then they
Mm.
can speak without fear. Also,
Yes.
issues of sexual abuse, unfortunately. We find that in a particular workplace, employees are being abused sexually, but now
Mm.
they fear because this is my boss, or they
Mm.
fear because this person is well respected in the work environment. But who suffers at the end is the employee. So
Mm.
issues of mental health become critical now in coaching. In other words, empowering this employee to be able to speak whenever he or she is uncomfortable, to
Mm.
speak whenever they feel that they need to voice their opinion without fear of being that they will be victimized or that they will be bullied. To speak
Oh,
up and speak up openly.
mm. That would be such a beautiful environment to work at. Honestly, it is an environment where the employee would look forward to going to work. Unlike what we see, everybody when it's Monday, they feel like crying because they understand the culture is waiting for them. When they enter the doors, even the body is starting to reject their desks, and even walking through that door is becoming a painful exercise. I just want to know, as much as you are talking about how coaching can assist, I do believe and know that coaching also can do harm if it's not done correctly. Is, do you agree? And what are kind of things that people should look out for a great coach?
100% correct, Pusaletso. And thank you very much for raising that point because at times we glorify coaching without actually looking at some of the challenges that coaches as well as coaches face in a relationship.
Mm,
So if I am taking coaching, if I'm coaching somebody, but I do not actually understand the principles and foundations of coaching, I may actually cause more damage and harm because
mm,
I think that I'm doing coaching, but actually I'm venturing into other spaces. Like I
mm,
said, yeah, that coaching is not a therapy. In coaching, you are not dealing with someone who is sick. You are not
no,
dealing with someone who is underperforming. You are dealing
yeah,
with someone who wants to improve, who wants to take their development from this level to another
mm,
level. So in any particular workplace, there are different types of interventions,
mm,
starting from training, mentoring, coaching, and consulting. So there are
okay,
quite a number. So as a coach, I must know that I am just coaching. I'm not dealing with someone who is unwell. So
mm,
I must respect this. This person must feel respected. And
mm,
also, I can cause damage if I do not understand as a coach that the
mm,
agenda is about this person. It's not about me. So it's not about me who says, now let us discuss one, two, three. Now these are the objectives and goals. I want you by this particular time to have reached this particular level. So it's about the person that is being coached to say, what would you like to achieve?
yes,
Whatever goal that you are setting for yourself. And then my role now as a coach is to try and work with you so that you can develop a plan that
mm.
will help you to reach that goal. Not to give you a script to say,
Not
here
to
is,
give you a plan.
here is a plan that you
Consult-
can use. So
yeah,
coaching can really be damaging if someone does not really understand. And it must take the two, the coach as well as the person that is being coached, to understand this particular relationship, which, by the way, is also defined by rules and regulations of coaching. So it's a contract between the coach and the person that is being coached. On that note, also, it's also important to note that coaching has also been abused by even some employers who will
yeah,
say, for example, I've tried everything for this employee. So, just as a formality, before I can actually fire this
okay,
employee,
exit them.
the employee must just attend your training session, your coaching session. I've already
Mm.
decided that I'm firing the person, but just as a formality to show that I've tried to do
There
something.
were interventions. Yeah,
Yes, yes.
yeah, it can definitely be abused in that manner, and it does happen. It really does happen, and you can tell that coaching is still being misunderstood. If a person can appoint you to come and do that work, there it's an obvious case that they don't understand what coaching is. And how do we, as coaches, Ndatemoyeni, assist in helping people understand what coaching is? Because even the coachee themselves, once they have been assigned to a coach, they believe that you come in to do the work for them. They are not ready to put in and the effort. How can we keep on empowering people and to understand the difference, especially the difference between coaching and mentoring?
Again, it boils down to the rules of engagement between the person that is being coached as well as the coach. To say
Mm,
we need right from the beginning to have an agreement. What are your expectations as
yeah.
the person that is being coached, and what are my expectations from you as a coach? So once
Mm,
we have that clarified, then we can even define the nature of the relationship, even in terms of the time frames, and
mm,
also understanding, making the person that is being coached to understand that it's all about him or her who is
mm,
going to set the agenda. So once we
mm,
have defined that, then it becomes easier because now we have clarified the expectations and also
yeah.
asking a very basic question.
Mm,
Can share with me the reasons why you actually want to go through the coaching process. It's
Mm.
amazing. One coach was telling me that when he was asking, "Why are you here?" Most of the time, my boss said I must attend. I don't know why I must come and attend this session.
Yeah, so
And
I'm here for that.
then you can understand right from that point that there is a problem here. So at
Yeah.
that point, it's important to get clarity because otherwise expectations are not going to be met because they are not aligned. There is misalignment between expectations from the coach side and
And the
the coachee side. So there
mm,
is that misalignment. So right from the beginning, the nature of relationship, the contract that we have with
mm,
the people that we coach, it
yeah.
becomes quite critical.
And also, I have seen as well with our executive coaching that some of the managers are delegating certain responsibilities to coaches that should be taken by them, whereby they highlight certain things that they don't like about a person. Can you please coach them to become better? And you find that they disconnect or they don't have a conversation with the person because now that they have a coach, go and deal with your coach, and that is not the right way of going about it. In fact, it is even better when all the three of you can come together and agree on the KPIs that are key for the development of that particular employee. We still have a long way to go, and we still have a lot to teach, and to make sure that people understand how they can utilize coaching for the benefit of the organization and for to align with the growth strategy and the development of their staff members.
Certainly, Puseletso. And also,
Mm.
coaching, what I like about coaching is that it asks those powerful questions. And the
Yeah.
voice of the employee must be there. The voice of the person who's being coached must be there. And also, managers, like you've indicated, they must learn to distinguish between their roles as managers and coaches. Because some of
Mm,
the managers, granted, they also play the role of a coach in
mm,
so, but they need to distinguish between that role, which can be very difficult sometimes. My role as a coach and my role as a manager. Because my as a manager, there are certainly I've got some expectations in terms of delivery, timelines, and so on. But now,
mm,
as a coach, it's about this person. How can I help you to become a better person? How can I
mm.
help? What are the areas that you would like to develop? And over what period of time would you like to get there? If the person say, for example, I want to develop my communication skills, and the coach is asking, over what period of time do you think what period of time do you think you need? And then if I say, for example, 5 years, as a coach, it's not my job to say, no, 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 that is too
Yeah.
it's too long. But I need to ask powerful questions in terms of this 5 year term so that I shift again the perspective of this employee so that the employee can see it from a different point of view rather than judging. Because my role as a coach is not to judge, is not to
Not to
impose,
judge.
but is
Not
to
at
ask
all.
those thought provoking questions, which will lead to this being person being coached to say, I think 5 years is a bit too long. I think I
Mm,
need to actually shorten it into, say, a month because I look at it from this particular perspective. Then the coach is doing a good job there.
definitely. No, definitely. I encourage our viewers to ask questions. If you do have a question related to your mental health, related to your well being at workplace, related to coaching in general, please do ask questions. Dr. Mien is here to take in some questions, and I'm here as well to attend to those questions. Dr. Miena, I think I've seen the trend that most companies now they are shying away from hiring us as coaches to come and do the work that we are trained for. They are starting to introduce peer-to-peer coaching, or they're introducing that the line managers coaching the new ones that are coming in. How would you advise companies that are trying to cut costs and providing coaching internally? What is the best way of going about it?
Actually, it's about the relationship again. So
Mm,
if I'm a line manager, it does not automatically mean that I can be a coach. It takes
Mm,
some particular skill sets. So
mm,
if employers only focus on saying you're going to be coached by a person internally without actually looking at the skill set, the coaching in particular, skill sets of that individual. Again, that can be detrimental to the relationship and also to the person that is being coached. So they
mm,
need to look at the skill sets of this particular person that is going to be doing coaching, but also the needs of the person that is going to be coached, because they need to pair the two to match the two. Otherwise,
mm,
there might be some misalignment. Because, for example, you can imagine if I don't have leadership skills. I'm a bully by nature. I'm a manager. I'm authoritative. Now I am going to be coaching my people. I'm
cheap.
going to be coaching my team. So you can imagine what's going to happen there.
Yeah.
Fear, and also some leaders may also be using some of the things that come from management against
Mm,
the safety. They may also
mm,
start down. So it can be quite complex. In matured organizations, I guess it can work as long
mm,
as the organization understand the what coaching is all about, and also what do we want to achieve about coaching.
mm, mm,
Organizations, they do prefer internal coaches, but again, it's about the skill sets that they have. So they must have the skills, because not everyone can just wake up and say, because I've got power and authority, then I
mm.
can. And
Oh,
also, organizations at times, they look in the short term, understandably so sometimes, and to the
mm,
detriment of the organization.
yeah.
Because now, if I look in the short term, I don't look at the long term needs and sustainability and productivity in the workplace as a result of coaching. So also, it's up to us as coaches as and leaders to actually make them see the benefits of coaching in the long run, the benefits of opening those communication channels in the long run, and also
Mm,
just distinguishing between all these different needs that
mm,
employees have,
mm,
all these different interventions, distinguish amongst all of them, so that we can be able to pick up coaching and also indicate who is actually the right coach. It can be
mm,
coach, it can be the external coach, but it must be
mm,
based on the needs of the individual, not
mm.
because we're trying to cut costs, not because they were trying to save money. No.
That's true. I have been participating a lot on the chemistry session that people now opt for before a coachee can select who they want to be coached by. And normally it's done in a speed dating kind of setup where the employees are seated around the round table. A coach is the one that is hopping from one table to another. They get to ask that coach the questions. And one thing I have been seeing as an amiss is the not being the coach, the employees not being prepared properly with the kind of questions they should ask to be able to be informed whether the person is the right person for them or not. Because right there, you will get certain questions that are more interested on your personal life, that are more interested on anything that won't help them once I'm in the coaching space with them. Have you experienced that as well, where you have to be part of the chemistry session so that you can be selected as a coach?
No, I haven't personally been part of that process, that chemistry process. But what I
Mm,
know is that one of the critical questions, it's about time,
mm,
because also someone can have skills, talents to
mm,
coach,
mm.
but they don't have time.
Yeah,
They've got too much on their plate, as much as they
yeah,
are willing, but they don't have time. Then,
yes.
right from the beginning, then that relationship collapses, because now there's going to be postponements after postponement, and then we're not going to achieve our goals, because
Mm,
the person has got all the skills and talents, but they do not take time because
That's
this relationship requires time. It's a commitment.
an
If we say we're
attention.
going to meet at this particular time, then it's a commitment. It means I've checked, I understand that I will make myself available. And
Mm,
not only make myself available in physical form, but also psychologically. I'm going to be present.
mm.
In coaching, there is this term that they use to say that you must be present.
Yeah,
You must be seen to be there. Your
yeah.
mind must be there, not just your body, but you
Not
must
just
be
the
there.
body. Yes. Today, my daughter was taking an Uber to school and she was listening on the radio. They were talking. This guy calls in on the radio and says they were talking about coaching. And the guy says, "No, I was in a coaching session with my coach and she fell asleep uh, virtually, and the camera was on and she was snoring." So my daughter came back and said, "Mommy, were they talking about you?"
Oh no! That is a no, 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 Puseletso. Because the coach must prepare himself or herself and understand
Yeah,
that I'm physically fit and psychologically fit to be there. I'm not
to be
just
there.
saying it as a tick box exercise that I was there. I must be there and be able to engage.
And it's allowed as a coach when you feel like you have overworked yourself, you're exhausted, you know that you are not going to be effective, to ask for the postponement of the session, because you are needed as much as the mentee is needed, and both of you should be energized enough to engage. But when you fall asleep in front of the screen, oh my God, it
So
does
let us
help.
be honest. So if I tell my coachee that I've got these challenges, I'm a human being.
Yes.
Being honest and authentic, which, by the way, is a very important fundamental of coaching. Being
Mm,
honest and authentic, making myself vulnerable to say
mm.
that this situation that I am faced with as a human being.
Mm. Oh no, that's how when you build a healthy relationship that goes both ways. On that note, I just want, as we go closer to closing this discussion, can we maybe help the listeners to what kind of questions are key to ask when you are looking for a coach, and so that you can be informed and make the right decision of selecting the person that is going to be effective in your personal or leadership development journey.
Yes, maybe before answering that one, Pusiletso, it's also important to actually highlight that a coach is not necessarily an expert. So if
Mm,
I'm looking for a coach, I'm not looking for someone who is an expert in my field or in a certain field. I'm looking
mm,
for an expert in coaching.
in
I'm looking for
coaching.
someone
Mm,
who can be able to shift my perspective and make me look at things from a different perspective. I'm looking for
mm,
someone who will be able to help me change my narrative, change my
mm,
story. If I believe that I'm a victim because I come from this background, from this community, that is why things are not working well for me. That is why I'll always be in this problematic situation. Nothing will ever work for me. I need someone who will help me to actually shift that perspective, to help me
mm,
develop a new story. I'm not
mm.
necessarily for someone who's an expert in occupational health or
That's true.
someone
Yeah,
in engineering because I'm an engineer. No,
yeah,
it can be
yeah.
anyone who has got the skills. So one of the questions that we need to ask is what skill sets does this person have as far
Mm,
as coaching is concerned, not as an expert in occupational health, but as
mm,
an expert in coaching. What skills does this person have? And
mm,
also, what has this person done before in the space of coaching? Have
mm,
you coached before? Do you have, for example, testimonials, people that can
mm.
actually attest to your work? So those are some of the questions. Does this person have time? We spoke about time earlier. Does this
mm,
person have time? Is this person passionate? So when I'm interviewing someone to coach me, I need to know if they are passionate about coaching. If also they believe in coaching, because it's one
mm.
thing to have qualifications in coaching. I
Yes,
did coaching because I
yes,
happened to be sent to do it, but do I actually believe? Do I have good
passion.
stories about coaching?
Mm,
Can I
mm,
tell a good story about coaching? They've got examples there where
mm,
perspectives and narratives were changed because of
mm,
coaching. So those are some
mm.
of the questions that we actually need to look at. And of course, other clients may want to know about the education background of this person, insofar as
Yeah.
coaching is concerned, experience. And at times they ask those questions not because they want to exclude them, but I
Mm.
want to know who I am dealing with. I want to know
Yes.
who this coach that I'm dealing with. Because now,
Mm.
just like when you're employing somebody, you ask certain questions not because you want to exclude this person. Of course, you use some exclusion criteria at times, but because
Mm.
you once this person has been employed, what are this person's developmental needs? So I want to
Yes.
know the areas that this coach is actually strong at, and how I will actually benefit from this specific relationship.
Yes. Oh, you have said a mouthful. Really, you have covered all the important things for people to consider. Because I can tell you now, I have seen people who sometimes even measure the effectiveness of a coach by what they are wearing, what they are driving, where do they stay. And those to me are very irrelevant because an effective coach sometimes doesn't even wear a label or they don't even drive the most beautiful cars, but they just know what they're doing. They know how to unleash potential in you, and they are so content of who they are because they are not going to teach you what they have not yet also invested in learning. Because a coach that doesn't also keep on investing in their own development, somehow you will realize that they probably just doing it as a job, but there's a difference from coaches that are doing coaching as a job and those that are understanding it as a ministry, as a calling, and as a passion that actually fulfills them when they see others succeed and become better with who they are. So, Dr. Mayeni, thank you so much. It was such a great pleasure having you this evening as we are making coaching fashionable. This topic and discussion needs to keep on going because the more we talk about coaching, the more we talk about it and how it applies in various places and platforms, and also it's going to assist a lot of people who sometimes maybe they were anti-coaching because they were misunderstanding what it is all about. And of course, there are a lot of people here that have also destroyed the coaching uh, concept because of how they have delivered it. And it's just like Christianity. There are a lot of people who left the church because of the Christians. So it's the same thing. We need to keep on making it more fashionable because we see value, we understand the impact it has, and also we believe that if people want to really heal, they want to become better versions of themselves, they need to invest in finding the right coach to walk the journey with them. What would be your parting ways for us? Your words as you say goodbye this evening, Dr. Moyeni.
Thank you, Pusaletso, for such a wonderful session. My final words will be everyone needs a coach. Everyone, literally everyone is a coach, whether someone is a state president, is a CEO of a top 500 company, everyone needs a coach. A coach is getting a coach is not a sign of being weak in the true sense. It's a sign
No.
of saying, I want to excel. I'm doing quite well, but I know that I can do better than what I'm doing now. So I want to
Yeah.
unblock all the blocks that are there. I want to become a better person. I want to grow. I want to go into the next level. And if I want to go to the next level, I need a coach. I need someone that will walk with me, not giving me answers and solutions, but someone that will walk with me and assist me so that I develop my own pathway in
Mm.
reaching the success that I need. And also,
Yeah.
I need someone who is going to be present. They call it mindfulness, someone that
Yeah.
is going to be present. So I must be able to select that particular individual that I
Mm.
resonate with in terms of chemistry, like you said earlier, and also in terms of time and the skill sets that this
Mm.
individual has. So my parting shot is everyone needs a coach, and coaching has got nothing to do with illnesses or someone who is underperforming. It's about growth and development. That is why organizations that want to attract and retain talent, top talent, they have coaching programs because they want to attain and they want to retain top talent, attract and retain top talent. Thank you so much, Lorenzo, and the viewers too.
Thank you so much. I want to say my parting words and say, uh, guys, if you find that your coach has got biases, they always persuade you to look at things the way they think is best for you. Or if you think that you find a coach that is talking more than you talk, who doesn't ask you clarifying questions or thought provoking questions, run, because that is not a coach, is a consultant. On those words, I want to say thank you so much for listening and for tuning in this evening. Let us meet again next week when we have another guest. Have Zianda Mazamisa, who's going to be here. I am excited about the interview that I'm having with her. I look forward to more engagements such as this. As we are, and you know, we are Mind Retirement Institute. We are all about making coaching fashionable. Have a great evening. Good night.
Thank you. Good night, Solet and the viewers.